You're not lazy. You're emotionally exhausted. You wake up tired, not from working too hard, not from sleeping too little, from carrying things that have no weight, but feel like everything. By the end of this video, you will understand exactly what is draining you, and it is not what you think.
There is a specific kind of tired that rest does not fix. You sleep, you wake up exhausted. You take a break, you come back still empty. You try to push through, nothing moves. And the worst part? You can't explain it. Because on paper, nothing is catastrophically wrong. But something feels off. Something is always running in the background. Something is always draining. Psychologists have a name for this state: emotional depletion. And it is not the same as physical fatigue. Physical fatigue comes from doing too much. Emotional depletion comes from feeling too much with no outlet, processing too much with no resolution, and holding too much for too long with no acknowledgement. Let's break down what is actually happening in your brain.
Your prefrontal cortex, the region responsible for decision-making, emotional regulation, and complex thinking, runs on glucose. It is the most energy-intensive region of the brain. And when you are in a state of chronic emotional strain, your prefrontal cortex is working constantly, managing reactions, suppressing responses, regulating feelings you haven't even consciously identified yet. The result is cognitive exhaustion that feels indistinguishable from laziness. You sit down to work and can't start, not because you don't care, because your brain has already spent its resources managing the weight of everything you're carrying emotionally. Now here's where this gets important.
Most people in this state blame themselves. They call themselves lazy, undisciplined, weak. They try to force productivity. They try motivation videos and morning routines and task lists. And when those things don't fix the depletion, they conclude something is wrong with them. Nothing is wrong with you. What is happening is that your emotional processing system is overloaded and under-resourced. Research consistently shows that suppressed emotion requires significantly more neural energy than expressed emotion. In other words, it costs your brain more to hold something down than to let it move through. You are not lazy. You are spending enormous cognitive energy on invisible labor. Research consistently shows that suppressed emotion requires significantly more neural energy than expressed emotion. In other words, it costs your brain more to hold something down than to let it move through. You are not lazy. You are spending enormous cognitive energy on invisible labor. There is also something called the emotional backlog. Humans have a natural capacity to process difficult experiences, emotions, and stresses over time. But when life moves fast and pressure stacks up, when you never fully process one hard thing before the next one arrives, those unprocessed experiences accumulate. They sit in your nervous system, and they create a background noise that never fully stops. This background noise is what exhausts you. So, what does psychology suggest? Not a productivity hack, not a new schedule, not discipline through force. The research points to something more fundamental: emotional completion. The practice of giving your experiences, even small daily ones, a moment of full acknowledgement before moving on. Not journaling for hours, not therapy every day. Just a consistent practice of asking, what am I actually carrying right now? And then letting the answer exist without immediately trying to fix it or push it down. Because here is what the research keeps finding. Emotions that are named lose some of their physiological intensity. The act of labeling what you feel, even privately, even briefly, engages the prefrontal cortex in a way that reduces the amygdala's alarm response. Your nervous system calms. The background noise quiets. You get some of your energy back. Not all of it, not immediately, but enough to move. You were never lazy. You were just carrying too much, alone, for too long. And that is not a character flaw. Subscribe for more contents like this. Like and share to anyone in need to hear this. That is a human being who needed more support than they received.